Welcome to Two Doctors Homestead. My name's Daniel.
And I'm Janet.
And this is Coffee Talk. Before we get to the topic of the day, I want to get to our coffee. This is Pete's Coffee Dark Roast, Major Dickinson's blend. It's a great coffee. Really enjoy it. So today's topic is our goals for 2023. So we did a year in review on 2022. And we did touch on some of our goals in the year in review. But today we're going to focus entirely on 2023, looking forward, what we're planning on doing. So first thing we wanted to hit on is turkeys. We've talked about turkeys. Janet loves turkeys.
Oh, I love turkeys.
She loves turkeys. She's got the turkey. She talks to them. They follow her around. Every time we're around a turkey at a friend's house or anywhere we go, they follow her around.
Yeah, I don't know. I just like them.
She's the turkey whisperer.
They're good. They're good babies.
Yeah, so we picked out an area, I think, in the yard, and we're going to build a more permanent enclosure for the turkeys. A couple years back, we raised turkeys, and we just did it in a 10 by 10 dog kennel, and we had kind of a makeshift tarp for the roof. And
yeah, because
and
they
whatnot.
were
It was a little
broad-breasted
makeshift.
bronze,
Yeah,
so they were
broad-breasted
very
bronze.
short. It was a short grow out for that breed, so they didn't really need anything that was, permanent.
Right. When we got those with the intention of raising them for Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Right, and we actually timed out the tom so that so it was never frozen, right? So we butchered it. If you've never butchered a bird, a turkey, it's got to go through rigor. So you have to have everything planned out by the day ahead of time, and that was good eats.
It was great, and just a little tip on turkeys, if you ever do buy a fresh turkey from a farmer.
Never fresh, never frozen.
Fresh, never frozen.
Right.
It will cook in less than half a time as a regular turkey.
Yeah, it cooks crazy fast.
Yes, it cooks very fast.
Yeah.
Not what we're used to from picking up from the store. So if it's fresh, never frozen, just know that. You don't want to throw your turkey in and come back, an hour later to baste it, and that bird's like halfway done. So,
Right, yeah.
And they go fast.
Right. Yeah, it goes really fast. We didn't expect that. I know you were looking at the turkey. You're like, I think it's done. It shouldn't be done, but I think it's done.
I cooked many, many turkeys, so I had to go by, my method of wiggling the leg to see what the joint's like and just feeling the meat, and it was done very quickly. I think we did one of the hens, and they were about 30 pounds, those hens, when we were done. The boy was close to 50, but the girl was 30.
Right.
And she cooked it about 2 to 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
In the oven at the standard temperature that you would do a turkey in.
Right.
It was
very
fast,
very fast cooking.
And delicious.
Delicious. I mean, it makes you wonder what happens when they freeze the turkeys and when they're commercially producing turkeys, that it takes so much longer to cook.
Yeah, I don't know.
I
don't really know what they do with them. I know they soak them in a brine, and does that brine affect it? I don't.
Yeah.
I don't know the science of that. I'm not that kind of doctor.
Right. Next thing we want to do is pigs, more pigs. We've been doing pigs for a couple years now. Our freezers are full, right? We have parts of 3 pigs,
it's a
3
nice thing to have
feeder pigs.
full freezers, with your hard work to have full freezers.
Right, absolutely. Yeah, we worked for that pretty hard, but our freezers are full. So this time we're looking at coons, which is a heritage breed. They're not going to get as big as the feeder pigs, the red wattle pigs we've been doing.
Yeah.
But Janet's going to pick out some coons. She's got some color patterns that we're
I do. I mean,
for.
we're going to have to raise them for 18 months.
Yeah.
Coonies go 18 months until, butcher date.
Right.
Unlike a feeder pig, 6 to 8 or whatnot. So they're going to be around a long time, and when they're around a long time, then I'm a little bit more picky because I want a color that would be cute to look at.
You're gonna spend a lot of time.
Any coonie is going to be super cute, and I'm going to absolutely love them. But
Right.
if I can get my hands on ones that are spotted, I would prefer that.
Yeah, and the idea being that in 18 months we'll probably be ready for pork. But if we did feeder pigs again now, in 6 to 8 months we wouldn't be ready. Like, it's just too soon.
Yeah, and honestly, we just don't have room for 3
We just don't have room. Right.
It'd
just be too soon.
We butchered 3 pigs this year, so.
Right. Of course, more gardening. We made a ton of gardening videos. We love our gardening, but we're going to be doing more gardening this year in the springtime. We did kind of a fall garden, and it kind of got wiped out from the freeze.
Yeah, we had that
We
really
had a big
bad
freeze. It was fine for a couple days, and then it was like the last day of freeze. It got too cold for too long. and wiped out our little fall garden, which is okay. It's a learning
We planted it
experience.
late, it was the problem. We
Yeah.
needed to plant it earlier so we could harvest before that late.
Right, before kind of a
Yeah.
freeze sets in. So, we have the grape trellis. We did grapes for a couple years. We didn't really like that variety
No,
of
so
grapes.
I gave it to the last set of
Right,
girls.
the pigs ate the
They
grapes.
loved it because we
Yeah.
left the grapes on the vine
Yeah.
to shrivel up
Right,
and dry up to
right,
raisins, and
right.
that was
Yeah.
decadence for them.
Right, they
yeah.
loved the fresh raisins, so we're gonna get we'll find some new grape varieties that we like to regrow grapes this year. We got
Yeah.
seed potatoes, which I'm excited about. Last year when we grew potatoes, it was off season, so we couldn't get seed potatoes, so we were reusing potatoes that we got in Walmart. And the end result was not amazing, right? So we're gonna try to do it right this year. And we actually got some seed potatoes, so grapes, potatoes. Plus our usual, right? We're gonna have more melons, pumpkins. I think those did well. I want to lean into the peppers a little bit,
Yeah,
zucchinis.
I'd like to go heavier on the peppers again. We didn't do a
Yeah,
lot of
right.
peppers last year, but peppers grow great.
They do.
in Texas.
They do great out here.
So it would be nice to get some more peppers, and some squashes. I would like to get deeper into. I get some seeds from
Right, we got seeds
RareSeeds.com
from Rare Seeds.
for a couple types of squashes,
Yeah.
but I'd like to do some more. Pick up
More
some more
squashes,
seeds when it's
yeah.
close, like some butternut squashes and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I like the
It's going to be
squash.
interesting come this fall because we usually open our garden to our pigs
Right.
and run them in
We might
there.
not do that.
And
We'll see.
yeah,
With coons, I don't know. We'll see if we do that.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if we. Yeah, I don't know.
Right. Well, we'll have
I
to
don't know
work
if
it out.
what we
Right,
want to
how
do
that's gonna work.
with
yeah.
the gardens, because coonies are grazers and they're not really.
They're not really gonna do what we want. Turning
Yeah,
it all
they're not
out.
gonna
So
be
we'll
like the
see.
feeder
It's gonna be our
pigs
first
that
time with
have,
coons, so we'll find out on
It'll be
that.
interesting season then.
Yeah. Right. It should be interesting.
Gardening season will be fun.
Right, the gardening season. All right, next thing we want to do, and this is a maybe. It's been on my list for a couple years, which is a greenhouse. I want to build a greenhouse. I want to build a big greenhouse, and that's why the can keeps getting kicked down the road to build a greenhouse. I want something big enough to do aquaponics inside of it, so to actually have a tank, pond, what you want to call it, with fish in it, and then have a circulation system for the water coming out of the pond to water the plants and potentially filtering and going back into the pond. So that's been on my list for a while. It's going to be a big project. Just haven't done it yet, right? Price of wood goes crazy, and that's a lot. That's a lot to take on. But it's been on my list for years, so maybe this is the year.
I mean, you just got started.
Right? Maybe this
Even
is the
if
year.
you just get the greenhouse
Right.
shell done,
Right, at least
maybe
get it started.
2024 can be putting in
Could
your
be the year.
aquaponics.
Right?
but
Yeah, could be the year.
Can't
I got
finish
a lot of
unless you
plans out.
don't start.
Right. Yep. You don't finish any of the projects you don't start.
Right, 100%.
So we'll see. Keto. We're starting keto, and I feel like that's been a good adventure already.
It has. I think it has.
Yeah.
It's dropped my blood sugar a lot. That was the
Right.
intent of going on keto, was to get my blood sugar to drop.
Yeah.
Both of my parents were diabetic. Both of them were type 2. I have enough problems with my congestive heart failure, with my regular heart failure, with everything that comes with it, with my kidney disease. So I wanted to, I mean, if you have those things, you want to drop your glucose because sugar is the silent killer. So
Yeah.
you gotta. That was the intent, and it has worked.
Yeah.
It's been 1 week, and I dropped 50 points in my fasting glucose. So I mean, proof is in the keto pudding, I suppose.
Right. We've got
because,
some keto channels
Yeah.
we've been watching.
I've been watching keto channels. Mr. Tom Garvey, the
Tom
keto
Garvey,
guru.
right? Keto
Love
Cook,
it.
great channel.
Yeah.
Great channel.
Yeah, and then I started watching some other keto channels based on people that I saw that were kind of part of Tom's community, and they'll have some really good info. Because the problem with keto is it's a whole new way of looking at your diet, not the way that we've done it our entire lives, not the way that the food pyramid goes. So there's a lot of unlearning to learn.
Right.
So kudos to the people who are
Yeah.
out there teaching because, I mean, I love learning. So for me, this is great because
Right,
it
it's a
gives me
whole new
something
way to
else to like
eat.
dig in and see
Yeah.
some data on
Yeah.
and try to learn.
Yeah.
But I mean, and my plan for the year is just to learn about it.
Right. Learn more
To learn
keto.
about it and try to put in some practices that I find through the education of it. But yeah, I'm not going to be a keto expert in 6 months or a year. No way. Am I going to know more in December than I do now about keto? Absolutely. And that's all I'm hoping for, is to know more and to be consistent and to be able to maintain my blood sugar at a lower level.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been helping your health already. I think the other channel is Ketorific Journey.
Ketorific Journey with Mike.
With Mike, yeah, Ketorific Journey with Mike. So check those
Such
two out.
yeah.
Tom Garvey, I call him the Keto King.
Those boys are, those men are the Keto Kings, yeah.
Right. Keto King's not his channel. That's what I
guys.
always think in my head. Keto King.
Yeah.
He's got the Vegas thing going. Great guy. Both great channels. So yeah, I think that's
Yeah,
already
and I love
helped
watching Mike cook in the kitchen because he's making these small little things, and I don't know. I just love their personalities. So,
yeah, great
they're
guys.
definitely
Great
worth
guys.
checking out.
Yep,
Yeah.
absolutely. So then the next thing we have that we're looking at, the Chicken Color Project. You started on this really last year. It's a multi-year project.
And I touched upon
about that. We've talked about it a couple times.
I have talked upon it.
This is going to be the year.
This is, this is going to be the year that I'm going to get a big, fat, fluffy butt buff Brahma.
Buff Brahma.
That's it. I mean, I'm being positive going into this.
It's going to happen. Yeah. It has to do with mixing the different genetics to try to get a certain type of chicken.
I bought a white male, white rooster, Brahma, from a show breeder.
Right. Sort of SOP. Territory.
That he breeds to standard perfection. That's it. I mean, that's what he does for the love of the breeds. Great guy. And he kind of talked me into trying to get large buff Brahmas, and buff color of a Brahma is like a rusty tan almost, and they're beautiful too. Well, apparently in the show world, no one's showing buff Brahmas.
Buff Brahmas, right? They're not common.
They're not common. They are showing them, but they're not common, and they're certainly not common to the standard of perfection of his. Like he has a rooster, a Brahma rooster. They say, if you look at the standard of perfection, it'll usually weigh anywhere between 10 and 15 pounds.
Yeah.
Full.
Which is a big chicken.
Which is a big chicken.
It's a big chicken.
Yeah. It's a big chicken. And, that's it. Brahmas take about 2 years to completely bulk out and get their full mass to them. His boys that he has, that I bought 2 of them, by 10 months, 10, 11 months, they were already 15 pounds.
Yeah.
And they still had another year of growth.
Right.
So the one that we have left, because another one unfortunately passed away, he didn't make it this summer. It was like 115 degrees for days upon days.
It was just too hot. They
and
fried
that's
out.
too much for poor little chickens.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can do everything you can, it doesn't matter. But so we still have Leroy, and he's like a year and a half, and he's close to 20.
Right.
So you're talking
big chickens.
Really big chickens.
Yeah.
So what I've been doing is I've been working with the genetics I have in my coop of buff Brahmas to breed with him.
Right.
So then that way you get his genetics of like
the
perfect
jumbo,
feathering
perfect
and jumbo with my color buff.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of genetic blah 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 talk.
Yeah.
But by the end of this, and by the 3 or 4 cycles, and how having to mate this person to that person to that person.
Right.
I will get what's called splits.
Yeah.
So half of the eggs that I hatch should be white, big white Brahmas, the light Brahmas, big light Brahmas, and then half should be big buff Brahmas.
Right.
So my end result is to get myself a big buff Brahma boy and a big buff Brahma girls, and be able to then take that line and make that line bigger and better and with better feathering, so it can be shown.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we can have buff Brahmas in the little show world in this area.
Yeah. No, I think it's going to be
fun.
Exciting.
I mean, I went from a regular chicken person to
you're breeding your own.
I need to breed my own for show now.
Yeah. It's pretty exciting.
Yeah, chickens are the gateway drug.
They are the gateway drug to homesteading.
People.
Absolutely. I think we mentioned that before. I've said that before. Yeah, if you get a chicken, that's your gateway. You start with a chicken. Next thing you know, it's a goat or a pig. Yeah. Or something like that.
You're breeding chickens.
You're breeding chickens.
For show.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you, I was raised in Chicago. I've always loved animals.
Yeah.
And as I got older, I said, it sure would be nice to homestead and have animals around you and be self-sufficient. But If you would have told me 20 years ago that I would be sitting on a homestead talking about chicken genetics, and showing chickens, I would have said that you've lost your ever-loving mind.
No, and here we are.
No, yeah, not the person I was 20 years ago. So people have their evolutions.
Yeah.
So 2023 for us is going to be, about what we want, but you out there, never say I'm never going to do anything.
Right.
You don't know how you're going to evolve as a person.
Don't know
you don't know where you're going to be in life, and it's all about doing stuff for you and enjoying it.
Right, absolutely.
At whatever stage of life you're in.
Yeah. Another thing, more canning. Right, we did some pressure canning. We did some pressure canning videos.
Yeah, you got me a pressure canner.
Got your pressure canner, the automatic one where you push the button in and pressure can stuff.
I should have got the All Americans that you do stuff with, but I was dipping my toe in.
Right,
so
dipping the toes into the pressure canning.
Maybe I'll go to one of those big All Americans.
Right, but you were going to do some apples this time. I mean, you've done a couple pressure canning recipes lately.
Well, you know what? I don't like throwing food away.
Yeah.
I mean, normally I'd give it to the pigs. We have no
pigs. We don't have pigs right now.
So my idea is that, before I had this brilliant idea that I need to control my blood sugar.
Yeah.
Because honestly, I wasn't testing it very often, and I did, and I was like, I have a lot of apples in the fridge because apple season hit. So of course I bought a lot of apples. Well, I'm not going to be eating apples like I did before, so I'm not throwing them away. Don't have piggies to give them to. My chickens really don't need that much, fructose, sugar in their life, so I was like, he bought me a canner. Yeah. I'm gonna can. Like I have a water bath canner and a pressure canner, so I'm gonna look up different recipes, and whatever recipes I go with, it's gonna be canned some way. Yeah. So it can be preserved and it can be put on the shelf.
Right. Right. Absolutely.
Sure
more food preservation, maybe some more videos around those. Just share what we learned.
Yeah, because the way I used to cook was I used to always try to take leftovers and zhuzh those leftovers into something else that felt like a different meal. Yeah. But I mean, my leftovers were always included some kind of, using a starch or a carb to do it.
Right, always, yeah.
So I would, I could turn anything into a coal miner's, Wisconsin coal miner's pie or pasty. I could do that. Right. Like I'll just throw all that stuff and make it into a pasty, and it'll be fine. Just a little hand pie. Yeah. Or roll it in like a Japanese milk bread and make that, or take it and cook it in a different way. But it always had a carb added to it. Yeah. So my idea for that is, as I learn how to do this low carb stuff, what I want to do is, if I notice that leftovers are getting to the part, sometimes you get sick of them. Right. I need to learn how to transform that into something that I can then pressure can to be shelf stable. Yeah. Absolutely. So that's going to be one of my goals for the year, is learning how to transition into taking a leftover, making it a quick meal. Yeah. That you could be on lunch and you could decide I want something that she made, and it's labeled in there, and you could just go pop it open, put it in a bowl, and warm it up. Yeah.
No, that sounds good.
So.
All right, we're doing more shelf stable.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think that pressure canner opens up the world to shelf stable with meats. Yeah, absolutely. And that's because I just pressure canned a bunch of beef.
Right, just pressure canned a bunch of beef.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. All right.
That's me for the year.
So those are kind of the big things we're looking at for 2023. I've got more solar. I actually put 4 more panels up on the chicken coop, so we have 8 panels now. 4 on the north side, 4 on the south side. Put another charge control. I didn't do a video as I was putting it up. Time was just short, and honestly, sometimes you don't feel like filming stuff. Right. Be honest there.
You ruined your favorite shirt.
I ruined my favorite shirt. Yep. I was up on the roof, and I wasn't even thinking about what I was wearing, and I use roofing tar. So when you mount the panels, you're screwing them to the roof right through the shingles. So I squirt the roofing tar through the hole and underneath, and I'm squirting the roofing tar, driving the screws. I'm looking at my hands. My hands are covered in roofing tar. I'm like, I'm wearing my favorite shirt. Right. Like, there is no way, it wasn't having anything on it, but there's no way I'm going to get off this roof.
Absolutely, I wouldn't.
And get this shirt off.
I'm looking at it like, getting somewhere.
Right, I don't even have a stain on my shirt yet. I'm like, this shirt is ruined. Great, what am I doing? Like, Wasn't even thinking. So yeah, ruined my favorite shirt.
It's okay. We went to the farm store like
Right.
5 days later.
She found me one.
And I was on the hunt for your favorite shirt.
Right. She found me one.
When you were getting stuff, and I got.
Right. She found me a replacement shirt.
Here it is.
But yeah, it happens every time.
Favorite shirt.
If you get me near wet paint and within the same 10, if I'm within 10 feet of wet paint, it's on my clothing. Just the way it is. Anything like that. But
Daniel's Law.
right. Yeah. Yeah. It's gonna ruin my clothes. If it's possible to ruin my clothes, it's gonna ruin my clothes. But the extra panels helped. We're getting a lot more amp hours in on the batteries. So now when the sun comes up, we hit 100% early. You know, I mean, the sun
Which
will
is
be,
awesome.
Yeah, yeah. It could be 10, 11 o'clock. We hit 100%. Right now, the load is just the lights. We have lights inside the chicken coop.
We have 3 light fixtures, so yeah.
Yeah, there's 3 light fixtures in there. It's 12 by 16, so it's a big building, and we wouldn't want it just to be dark all the time.
No.
Right? That's too big to really just be sitting there dark, especially when you're going to get the eggs and
Our
whatnot.
chickens like light.
Yeah,
I know
they
a lot
like
of
light.
people say, you know, if you want to push your chickens to lay over the winter, you need to put a light on because they'll
Yeah.
lay.
Yeah.
That's never been the case for our chickens.
Right.
Our chickens prefer to have what I consider a night light,
We
which
do a
is
nightlight.
a
Yeah, it's
single
not all
light
lit
in
up.
the doorway.
Right. We just turn it down to 1 light at
Yeah.
night. It's just enough to.
It doesn't
Put a glow.
affect their laying
Right, put
eggs
a
or
little glow
not
on
laying.
there.
They're just used to it because we leave food in there, so they like to get up. And I
Yeah.
have roosters, and honestly, if you have a teeny tiny bit of light,
Yeah.
one of my roosters, he was the great mouse hunter.
Right, he was getting the mice. Yeah, they need that to see, because when it gets completely dark, if you're not familiar with chickens, they shut down. They
Yeah.
just freeze up. They stop where they're at. They tuck in, and they wait because either they don't have good night vision or they're worried about being hunted.
They
at
don't
night.
have good night vision.
Yeah, I don't think they have
They're
good
like
night
once
vision.
it reaches a little
Once it's
bit
dark, they just
past dusk,
they just
can't
stop
see
where they're
anything.
at. Yeah. So having a little light is almost safer for them because they
It
can
is.
kind of move around.
I want them
So we had some
something
mice in
wherever
there.
to get in that coop.
Right.
Which I know nothing big can get in that coop,
Yeah,
but knock
yeah.
on wood, if something ever would,
Yeah.
my roosters need to be able to
They
fight
need
for
to
their
be able to
hens.
see. Right. They gotta have some visibility to put up a fight.
Yeah,
Right.
They like
absolutely.
it.
And they like it. Yeah, we don't do a tunnel light, but we give them a little bit of a night light. But that runs right now. It's the coop's just running 100% on the solar.
right.
And
Green
that gives us
chickens.
our backup. Yeah, yeah. Chickens are green energy chickens. It's the best kind. But we're probably going to put some more solar. So as I'm envisioning the home we're going to build for the turkeys, the enclosure, I'm thinking about roof slope and where the roof's going to face and how many panels I can get on the roof. So I can incorporate solar into the turkey pen because it's going to be on that side of the property.
Oh, okay.
And that'll be our second solar setup that will probably backflow to the pool. But that's going to take a lot of panels. We got the pool pump.
Yeah, I think
and it'd
about
be
that pool
nice.
pump and how much it pushes out.
That's a lot of
The first
electricity.
thing was,
Yeah.
we could just put it on the shed we have on the pool side
Right.
and let it run the pool pump, but
Yeah, this
yeah,
angle
that
on the
pool
roof
it
edge
really
and-
does
Yeah,
pull a ton of energy from that pump.
Right.
That pump does.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but the turkey needs lights.
Turkeys need
Turkeys
lights, so
need
we'll put
lights
some
too.
more solar. So that's it. That's our 2023. That's our game plan right now.
Yeah.
You know, we appreciate you coming and watching the show. Like and subscribe. Thanks for sticking around and keeping this fun.
Yeah.